Matt Lenihan, Boxing Social, in association with freebets.com, Empire Fight Store, Forged Irish Stout, with Sam Jones. He's in a good mood. It's a shame. Sam, I know I've got you last, so I've got to ask good questions. How's things, my mate? Dan Toward on the card. Must be buzzing.
No, absolutely. I've come. It's the first time I've ever been in Telford. So really looking forward to come down here on the Friday and watch Dan Toward light it up.
Spoke to Dan, very confident, cool as a cucumber as well, especially when you come into this game. I was saying to Dave, we'll move on to Dave in a minute because I know he's joined that gym, but when you come into this game with a big amateur pedigree, there's a bit of expectation off the back of it, and that performance, in his debut was blistering. Are you expecting something similar this week?
No, I'm expecting something better. I'm not going to lie, I'm expecting something better. I've got so much faith in Dan. I believe he's one of the top prospects in the country. And I think he's going to show why on Friday. Genuinely, I think he's going to be the standout performer on Friday.
What sets him apart? I know I'm not just talking about his accolades. What have you seen?
And his mindset. He's very mature for his age. He's strong. He's flashy. He's got a tremendous jab. He's got everything.
He's talking about, obviously, being from the northeast and wanting to put on a show up there at some point. A lot of talent that way as well now. So there's potential to build a big show. Is that the aim? Obviously, build his record. Not to say build his record, but get him that seasoning he needs, and then get him back up there doing a big show.
I think the fans will take to Dan quickly because, like my situation with Cameron Vaughn fighting Jordan Flynn in his 5th fight, you're going to see a similar type of path with Dan Toward because he's got exactly the same capabilities.
Bit of a quieter media week as opposed to last week. You had quite a role to play. The villain definitely at one. We'll start with heel rock at one, and then went to Manchester where you were cheered. What were last week like for you? Just as an overview, just talk us through it because you did play your part.
It was a bit of a whirlwind, to be honest with you, mate. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and as a boxing fan, I was just like, wow, this is fantastic. Just to be a part of it, and you see. When you went to Edinburgh, all the fans that have came out, because there was so many people in there. I don't think people saw the amount of people that were in there. They were outside, they couldn't get in. And then over to Manchester, it was so loud. But it was a privilege to be a part of, to be involved in such a massive fight. I'm very proud of that.
I was saying to Eddie, I think after the second press conference, this feels like, where when everyone's talking about Saudi, and look, Saudi's great, we're seeing the elite fights, but when you see your Frox Groves and there's genuine beef.
Me aside, right? If I'm looking at this fight, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is what we need. This is what we need. We need the hey Bellew, apples and pears, and pull and a push and a pull. We want to see Quig Framptons. We want to see these type of fights because this is what it gets you good content. It keeps everyone happy. Keeps the broadcasters happy. It sells tickets, and this is what I try and say to people like that. For example, the Adam Azim Dalton Smith fight. Yeah. It will do an arena. It's not as big as the Catterall Taylor fight, of course it's not, but it's still a great fight.
Banging fight, right?
Great fight, and these are the type of fights that must happen. These fights must happen because the loser can come back. The reason I mention that is I just see follow suit. You can see these fights, your profile will go up, you'll sell arenas out, and you're going to have a great career. Win, lose or draw. Make great domestic fights. Stop overcooking fucking fights. It's very annoying. No one wants to see that shit. No one wants to see, it'll be for a world title in 3 years. Who knows if you're going to win a world title? Make the fucking fights now. It pisses fans off. So there.
We're sort of coming into that era.
To go into a bit of a rant then, but no.
That was good, mate. That was good.
2 coffees I've just had.
Marvellous. I was just going to come on to this. I think we're sort of the Floyd Mayweather era, and this is not to his. He's played a part in the whole. I'm undefeated. No one can beat me. So you've had fighters over the years, maybe pad the record, but now I think we're slowly seeing this change, and we're seeing the likes of a Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis. They got in the ring. We're seeing obviously Haney and Garcia now. We're starting to see big fights. There's a Taylor Catterall rematch. Seeing is it now the time to say, look, one or two losses doesn't mean it's over. You've got to keep going and keep having these things to add value to fights.
Matt, only in boxing, right? Usually, do you get ridiculed so much for a loss? Because imagine, I know I said this before, but imagine Novak Djokovic fighting a tennis match and he loses. Oh, you finished. You're shit. Listen, in boxing, if you support these fights happening, I'll use Vong and Flynn as an example because Cameron's 4-0, Flynn's I think 9-0. You see the engagement on social media because people are like, wow, this is a fight, real jeopardy involved. Make these fights happen. because this is what will bring and attract fans to our sport, and it will keep fans interested. No one wants to see kids that have had an extensive amateur background fight shit fights that people know the outcome of their fight. Make proper fights, and you will keep fans engaged, you will sell arenas out, and you will ultimately earn more money.
You mentioned Azim, Dalton Smith.
Yes.
I know it's a great fight, and I know people, I think 18 months ago, were saying, in a few years, this and the other, but the time's come sort of now because of how fast Adam Azim's gone, and Dalton's now at that point too. And he's, by the way, everyone keeps talking about this fight as if this is a period that's just going to go through. This is a tough fight, and let me tell you, a tough fight.
Dalton, you look at Dalton Smith's career; he's been fighting tough fights. Like Dalton Smith is, but that's because he's had a good amateur background. It shows how good he is. It's like he's come for that thing, but ultimately, and this is the thing. I am a big fan of Adam Azim. I think Adam Azim has it. He's got all the qualities. He's a sharp puncher. He looks the part. But you can't call out Keyshawn Davis at Wembley and then scurry around the Dalton Smith fight. It's a great fight, and it's a great fight now. Fuck that stuff of let's make it for a world title in 2 years. No guarantees. The fans want to see it now. There's a demand for it now. It will fill an arena. Stop being silly about the other stuff. Let's make this fight now. And because the loser, the winner goes on to be a star. The loser can rebuild. Look what happened with Froch and De Gale. That's a prime example. But what I'm saying is, in British boxing, the fans are can see through the nonsense nowadays of all these.
It's coming round, isn't it?
Yeah, they see these fighters that have had huge, even Olympic backgrounds, getting matched against people that they wouldn't employ for sparring. Make proper fights.
Does it happen? Do you think your heart has? Eddie said can do it on Sky, but do you think it happens?
No, I don't, if I'm honest with you. I don't think it's going to happen, but I really want it to as a fan, because I really like both guys. Adam Azim looks a special talent. Dalton Smith, special talent, but it'll be a shame if the fight doesn't happen because of whether politics or whatever comes into it. Fight needs to happen.
In other news, Chris Eubank Jr. linked with, I think Eddie's made comments regarding the Catterall thing. I want to touch on Kell Brook.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in that fight. I want to see Eubank Ben. Kell Brook's been retired a long time now. It's not that I'm not interested in that, because if the fight happens, of course. But I want to see Eubank against Ben. That's the fight I want to see.
At some point, do you think demand just takes over and we just see that happen?
Has to, because the money's too big. It's the biggest payday for Ben. It's the biggest payday for Eubank. Fight needs to happen.
Haney, Garcia, we mentioned it earlier in terms of big fights yesterday.
Great fight.
Huge big fight field. Devin, we've seen his accolades, undisputed. Last performance, I was there to witness it. It was brilliant. Ryan Garcia, bit of a point to prove maybe at this level, but what do you make of it?
Yeah, I think it's I think you see, look, you compare the beef between Catterall and Taylor when they came together. If they were stood in front of each other for 2 minutes and one of them was yelping at each other, someone's getting clipped round the ear hole. Devin,
they did.
They did. You saw it happen with the Haney Garcia thing. It's a bit not fake, but it's a bit like put on. Shall we say?
They're very familiar, aren't they?
Yes, but ultimately, it's a brilliant fight. It's a fantastic fight, and everyone's going to be getting up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to watch it.
Joshua and Ngannou next week. I've got to ask you about it. I know everyone's asked, but I've got to ask you. I've referenced this before in another interview, but something Gareth A. Davis has said, genuine jeopardy in this fight. Do you believe that there's a genuine jeopardy for Anthony Joshua in this fight in your heart?
Yeah, there is, because if he lost, it's like, what on earth do you do then? But I think that I was very convinced that it was a mismatch with Fury. I got it wrong. I think we all did, if we were all honest. But with the AJ fight, I think AJ is going to show the difference between a boxer, a really good boxer, a tremendous world-level boxer, to an MMA, a very strong, tough MMA fighter in Francis Ngannou.
You believe he knocks
I think
Francis
he stops
Ngannou?
him. I'm not saying he knocks him out cold, but I think he stops him. Yeah.
In terms of the last fight, with obviously we've got a few rounds of Ngannou now, so Joshua's got something to go off.
Yeah.
In terms of Fury, what we see next, we saw the shape he was in when the fight got pulled. Are we going to see a different Tyson Fury?
I predict you're going to see the best Tyson Fury, and I think he's going to put a tremendous performance on, beat Usyk, become undisputed champion, and then the fanboy in me, I want to see AJ against Tyson Fury because it's the biggest fight ever. Let's go.
Sam Jones, I appreciate your time.